Good morning, children. How are you all? See, children, in the last video, we had discussed about the heat capacity and the specific heat capacity. I'm just doing the recapitulation of the part which we have studied. Okay. Now, small c, the first formula which I have written on the board is small c equals to c dash by m, where small c is the specific heat capacity of the body and c dash is the heat capacity of the body divided by mass. What is specific heat capacity? When heat capacity expressed for a unit mass of the body, we say that it is specific heat capacity. And what is heat capacity? Heat capacity is the amount of heat energy required for the rise in temperature, that means Q by delta T. That when we substituted the value of C dash is Q by delta T in the given equation, it becomes C equals to Q by delta T M. Now Q equals to mc delta T joule. It's a relationship, it's a formula which is used in solving the numericals. Now see, children, so the quantity of heat energy absorbed to increase the temperature of a body depends on three factors. See, Q depends on three factors. What is that? Q is directly proportional to M. More the mass, more the heat energy is required. Q is directly proportional to the delta T. Delta T means what? Rise in temperature. More rise in temperature we require, then that means what we have to do? We have to give more amount of heat energy. Likewise, now the third factor is Q is depending on the material of the body, which is represented by C. Okay, so when we join all these three factors in a formula, we have Q equals to mc delta T joule. Now see, children, units of specific heat capacity. What is unit of specific heat capacity? See, children, C dash. What is C dash? C dash is Q by delta T. Q is the SI unit of heat energy is joule, whereas delta T is Kelvin and mass is expressed in kilogram. So its unit will be joule per Kelvin or joule per Kelvin per kilogram, or if the rise in temperature is expressed in degree Celsius, then it will be joule per degree per kilogram. Now see, children, if you see a book, we have on page number 264, it is given that distinction between the heat capacity and specific heat capacity. What are the differences between heat capacity and specific heat capacity? First of all, to write the difference, we will write the definition of both of these. First definition is what about the heat capacity? It is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of entire body by 1 degree Celsius. Here we do not take per unit mass, okay? Whereas specific heat capacity is what? It is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of unit mass of the body by 1 degree Celsius. Now, second difference between heat capacity and specific heat capacity. In heat capacity, it depends both on the substance and mass of the body. More the mass of the body, more is the heat capacity. Whereas specific heat capacity does not depend on the mass of the body. Okay, but it is the characteristic property of the substance of the body. Now, heat capacity formula, we know that C dash equals to Q by delta T, whereas specific heat capacity is C equals to small c equals to capital C dash by M. Last difference between them will be their units. The SI unit of heat capacity will be what? Joule per Kelvin, whereas the SI unit of specific heat capacity is joule per Kelvin per kilogram. So these are the four differences given between the heat capacity and specific heat capacity in your book. Children, you don't have to mug up the things, learn the things, you have to remember the things, okay? So for remembering, your concept should be clear. Read the chapter, reread the chapter until unless you will not understand the concept of that. You can ask also question during Zoom sessions, okay? Zoom session we can keep for clearing the doubts. So whatever I am explaining you in this video, read the chapter, reread the chapter. Still, if you are having any confusion, we can take it up in the Zoom sessions, okay, children? Now see, children, the next topic is specific heat capacity of some common substances. Now see, children, every different substance has a different specific heat capacity. usually a good conductor. What is a good conductor of heat? Which allows heat to pass through them easily. Usually a good conductor has low specific heat capacity. That means amount of heat energy required to raise its temperature will be less amount of heat energy is required because it is a good conductor. That's why the good conductors of heat are having less specific heat capacity, whereas the bad conductors of heat are having high specific heat capacity. For example, copper and water. Copper is a good conductor of heat, that's why its specific heat capacity is less, 0.4 joule, whereas the water is a bad conductor of heat, so its specific heat capacity is usually very high. Water has an unusually high specific heat capacity, which is equals to 4.4200 joule per kilogram per Kelvin. Okay children, so always keep it in mind that the good conductors of heat are having less specific heat capacity, whereas the bad conductors of heat are having high specific heat capacity. Okay children, now just think that if we heat equal mass of any different substance on the same burner, so that the rate of heat supply is also same, we notice that after the same time interval, the rise in temperature for the two substances is different. Why? Because of their different heat capacities, different specific heat capacity, because the one substance is taking more heat energy to raise its temperature by the same temperature, whereas both are different substances. That's why they are having different specific heat capacity. So amount of heat energy absorbed by them to increase the same amount of temperature will be different. The substance with low specific heat capacity, it is a good conductor. I just explained you the substances which are having low specific heat capacities are good conductor of heat. The substances with low specific heat capacity shows a rapid and high rise in temperature. Thus, it is a better conductor of heat. Whereas the substance with high specific heat capacity. What do you mean by high specific heat capacity, children? High specific heat capacity means it is taking more amount of heat energy to increase its temperature. Okay, per unit mass. If it is taking more amount of heat energy to increase its temperature per unit mass, that means it is a bad conductor of heat. Okay, this time also one question comes based on this, has come in board exam, so you all just clear this concept. Now the next topic is calorimeter. Wait, I'll turn the board. See, the topic I have explained you, I have written on the board as well. A good conductor has a low specific heat capacity, while a bad conductor has a high specific heat capacity. The essence, the gist of the topic is the given subtopic was that which I have written on the board. Okay, now calorimeter. What is calorimeter? Beta, calorimeter is a cylindrical vessel. It is in the shape of a cylindrical vessel which is used to measure the amount of heat gained or heat lost. Heat gained or heat lost when it is mixed with the other body. When two substances are mixing, when we mix two substances with different temperatures, then they will one substance will release the heat and one substance will absorb the heat because they are at different temperatures. So calorimeter is a cylindrical vessel which is used to measure the amount of heat gained or heat lost by a body when it is mixed with the other body. You can see the diagram of calorimeter given on page number 265 in your book, children. Now see, a calorimeter is made up of a thin sheet of copper. Always calorimeters are made up of thin sheet of copper. Now you may ask me why copper only? Because copper has a low specific heat capacity. It is a good conductor of heat, so it will not require much temperature to attain the temperature of the thing which is kept inside the calorimeter. If you make a calorimeter which has a high specific heat capacity, then what will happen? To attain the temperature of the thing which you are keeping inside the calorimeter, it will take all the heat and you are not able to calculate the amount of heat released or absorbed by the substance. So a calorimeter is made up of a substance which has less specific heat capacity. So this also comes many times why a calorimeter is made up of copper, or it comes like this, a calorimeter is made up of which substance? Give reason for that. So a calorimeter is made up of copper. Reasons: because copper is a good conductor of